you a small business owner, a trader, a school owner, a federal civil servant, a Lagos or Edo civil servant, a farmer or a farm supply merchant? Do you need a loan or wish to fix your money for a high yield interest? Talk to us today and get your loan in less than 24 hours. Visit our website on www.lapo-nigeria.org or call us on 0813-984-0230. Email info@lapo-nigeria.org.
Globally, businesses and corporations are faced with challenges that requires fresh thinking on strategy, leadership, and governance to survive. The Anchor is a program designed to help organizations and individuals to be skilled in handling challenges. Join Dr. Osaren Emokpae, a development economist and a corporate strategist.
Welcome to the 6th episode of Managing Organizational Performance, MOP. If you want to abbreviate it, it's called MOP, Managing Organizational Performance. There are several institutions in the world that are running programs on this at the postgraduate level. I'm not aware of any that does it at undergraduate level. But the time I spent my 3 years studying for a master's degree in managing organizational performance, it was only one university then doing that at the master's level in the United Kingdom, and that is Cranfield. So you can go and we are going to give you stuff you're going to enjoy. Even without going there, you will already be enjoying it during this episode. And so we are going to now go deeper into these 4 dimensions that Kaplan and Norton put together in the balance scorecard as a way to actually gauge, measure, and manage performance. So I want to now invite Oganya to teach us through the first, and after that, Mr. Ebi Tebepina, you already know them. I don't want to reintroduce them, you know them. So he will now move on from financial, he will take us now to the next, and so on and so forth. So over to you, Mr. Anya.
Thank you. When it comes to financial measures, we are still talking of the 4-point scorecard. When we are talking about financial measures, we are talking of the organizational effectiveness in terms of profit. All the activities, all the noise making, how much profit is the organization making? And what is their return on investment, on assets, on equity, on everything. So we are talking about finance. What are they going to present to their shareholders? Are they going to be telling stories? It is money. That's what this measure is all about. So at the end of the financial year, they want to see their performance on the annual report that they will present to their shareholders to being robust, so that the shareholder will now know how to remunerate them in the subsequent year. So it's money, profit. That's what these measures is all about.
Yeah, and you find that those who I used to buy shares, but I no longer buy shares now. I used to buy shares in my younger days. And as I speak now, there are so many shares I bought, I don't even know where they are, and I'm not even getting income, because there was a time they then said we should fill some forms so that it will be direct to this. I wasn't in the country. When I came back, I couldn't even remember to fill, and so I have shares today. I'm not the only one. There are several people with shares, but they are not actually getting dividends because they didn't go properly to monitor. One major measure of performance of business that is just said is has to do with how much, not just profit, how much dividend do you deliver every year? So for shareholders, so people want to come and buy more. Did they say, oh, they paid us 20 kobo per naira last year. This year they are paying us 25. Before they are paying 30. They don't even look at it. They say, I'm going there, I want to go and buy shares. Because the people are looking for money. So if you really want you to prosper in your business financially, you must be able to, the bottom line must be always be blue and black, not red. And then for those who are shareholders in your business, for them to have something robust to take home, every time, every year. And that is what will make them to inject more capital into your company. So anytime you then say you want to subscribe, new IPOs, new whatever you are asking for, people are excited to want to invest because you have gotten it right in the area of your financials. But you then find that you really cannot have that financials robust consistently if you ignore the other three. And that's why I want to bring in Ebitebepina to take us on to the next measure.
Thank you, sir. I'll take it up from where you stop, sir. You cannot do very well if you ignore the other three, and which is the second layer or the second leg I want to talk about. That's the customer measure that we need to look at critically. And first and foremost, the new customers. There are 2 or 3 layers on this. The new customers that are coming in, how do you keep them? These new customers are the ones that will now refer. The referrals, maybe they want to refer a friend. For instance, if I take myself for an example, I enter into a place, I'm well satisfied regarding the product I buy there. Definitely I will tell my friend, let's go into this place. And once that customer also comes, you have not kept me alone. I mean, maybe as I continue to buy, I'm now a loyal buyer in that place. Bringing my friend into that place, that makes there's increase in terms of numbers. So keeping me is one basic thing. Bringing more is another thing, because the bringing more, it also impacts on the financials.
Because for instance, if you then go to a place you like their yogurt, there's a place I like. I took their yogurt. Every time I go there, I'll go and buy yogurt there. Very good one. Some people will say it's not good for your age. That's up to them. You see, all these things they tell us, live a healthy life. But sometimes don't be obsessed with it. Be yourself. So I want to go and buy yogurt. There. So I used to buy maybe once in 2 weeks or once in a month. When I started enjoying it, I'm going there to buy more. Even when I didn't bring any, I'm bringing myself more there. So the intensity of your even consumption is important in measuring as a part of customer measures. Continue.
And even if you are measuring these customers,
in
areas that you didn't do well or customers are not satisfied, do you know them? If you know them, what are you doing
concerning?
Yes. Exactly. So these are the things
that you look out for.
Yes.
It's like measures. We were saying on this program that we actually need to now do a measure. This program, has it been doing well?
Yes.
Which area have we not been doing well? It's not just to come to the studio, waste the time of these gentlemen who are helping us at the studio manager, the cameraman, all these people. Their time, their times are very valuable. So if nobody's interested in what we are doing here, we are wasting their time. So that's why it's also important to measure
the areas.
Are not satisfied. Not satisfied. So that we can improve it and it will be worth the while for everyone to come here. So let's move from that now. Let's move to these internal processes. Mr. Aya, you can also talk to it, because it's an internal process measures of performance relate to organizational efficiency. This one is very single-minded. It's not talking about effectiveness at all. It's efficiency. And this has to do with a specific area of engineering. When you are doing engineering, in production, I mean physical product. Also, when you are now giving service, it has to do with the different layers of how you filter what service you are going to deliver, so that you can deliver something that can listen. So it has to do with the efficiency. In other words, I put in little effort, I get maximum returns. That's what efficiency talks about, to be simple. How am I efficient in the use of the materials I have to produce more. So this internal process, that's what they wrote there in Kaplan and Norton. You may disagree with them. He said the internal measures of performance to relate to organizational, what did he put there? He said efficiency. Can you take it from there?
Yes, what we are talking about, like this Starbucks company, they realize that the importance of efficiency measures for the long-term success of the organization, and they carefully examine the processes that will now embark for future growth. So that is what will also the internal business process entails. Even if we are doing well currently, what again will you add so that you remain in business in subsequent years?
Yeah, because you can also look at and say, what do I excel in? Because you find, okay, now you are the deputy registrar of the Jones School of Management, and you have different departments, for instance. Okay, now in other departments, maybe you have about 20 now, I don't know.
You have 10 currently.
You have 10.
Now,
okay.
Intend to increase.
To increase more. Okay, because what I know about is that you're going to take into a medical school next year. So you'll be looking at medical courses there next year. Okay, and medical courses alone can give you another 10, medical courses. Okay, now, but before you then get to that, you then say, in which area am I excelling? Where am I excelling? For instance, okay, I'm a microfinance expert by the grace of God. But am I really excelling in microfinance? Or am I excelling better because I'm also a fellow in marketing. I'm a fellow in advertising. So which area am I excelling? What he's saying is that there could just be few areas where you are truly excelling. If you are selling, why don't you focus on those areas to deliver more value? So, and that is why I say, what are we excelling at? He said, this is an example included. He said, it takes to manufacture organization good or to deliver a service. The time it takes to create a new product and bring it to market is another example of this measure. And that's what we're talking about, Starbucks. How am I, in terms of my processes, making them more agile, making them in such a way, that you can actually then say, in terms of producing more with less. I think that's a simple way you can call it a car phrase, producing more with less. I think that is where we want to go on a short break. By the time we are back, we are going to now get deeper onto, other areas, particularly the area of learning and growth.
At Jones School of Management, Innovation and Enterprise, inventing the future. Here at Jones School of Management, we see the big picture. We are inventing a world-class institution, an institution at the core of cutting-edge research, learning, and entrepreneurship. We are accredited by the National Board for Technical Education, NBTE, Jones School of Management, Innovation, and Enterprise.
Okay, welcome back everyone, and thank you for being a part of this today. We've spoken about Kaplan and Norton, the 4 measures. Starts from profitability, looking at profit, area of profit, how do you measure that? We went into look at customers, how do you do the measures, whether our customer is satisfied or whether they are truly interested in continuing with the business, and we went into internal processes, and it's about building institutions and structures within an organization to ensure it's able to deliver. And then it's not just setting them up, you have to measure the performance. And performance in its own unit and as a contributor to the overall goal of the organization. So you see that the 2 dimensions of measurements there. But even in each of those dimensions, you can actually have 7 metrics in each. So we don't have all the time to be able to deal with that, but we draw your attention to those areas and you can look at them. But this one we want to discuss now in the next few minutes will just be learning and growth. Traditional metrics used to just focus only on financial. But learning and growth in here is not about growth in your finances. It's not about growth in the number of children you are giving birth to. There are some people, they don't control. But so one man will say, I have 30 children, all of them are begging on the streets. You know, that's not the kind of growth we are talking. It's a part why Nigeria is one of the poorer countries, because some people just give birth like that, 20 children, doesn't care about them. So learning and growth here has to do with an individual and then the institution. How much of you has grown? Let's start from here. I can remember when I had my first degree in economics. Okay? I had my first degree in economics 42 years ago. Now, 42 or is it 43 now? Years ago. Now, after that, what happened? I had a friend, I won't name him because he might be watching us. When we were graduating, he made a talk class. He said he will never read book again. He said it's only newspaper he will be reading. The last time I saw him in Abuja, I was looking at him. And we greeted, maybe 10 years ago, we greeted. I could see that the man said, I have also some other friends. You know, at teacher grade 2, they just stopped. They said, they never grew beyond that. And you know, what has happened in science, if you go and check that, the more educated you are, the more likely you are going to live long. So there is a relationship between living long and learning. There's a relation between being healthy and learning. Healthy as an organization or healthy as an individual. In fact, there's a relationship between your mental. That's why when the Holy Scripture are talking about renew your mind. Renew your mind means enlarge your mind. Build yourself up. And that's what will keep you to grow. To grow your imagination, to grow in whatever you think about. Your brain power. That's what it's meant. When people just say, renew your mind, they think it's just to go and carry water and be drinking. It's not to go and drink water and renew your mind so they are drinking water. Water is nice. But what he's talking is about build up your capacity to think. Because whatever you can imagine, you can achieve. But you can't achieve it when you are not growing. You cannot. And so learning and growth measures of performance relate to the future. That's what Kabla and Anton, but I disagree with him slightly. They also relate with the present, not relate with the future. And then there's some measure providing insight to tell the organization, can we continue to improve or create value? He said learning and growth measures focus on innovation and proceed with an understanding that strategies change over time. This is the kind of thing I'll be sharing with my friends, even in ministry. When I call for development of an app for administration, in the denomination I belong to, there was no any other local church that did it. We then developed it. We didn't know COVID was coming. So when COVID came, people were saying they were not going. We deployed our app. Most of our people were connected in their home. We're having service. That was learning. That was growth. It was after that now people said there's now something called Zoom, something Google Meet, then something. I said we have we don't need their own.
You mentioned about innovation, about part of this learning and
yes, go ahead. Yes.
That is exactly what we have done, or we are trying to do at John by assembling what we call innovation incubation team, to always make sure that a John School of Management will not be only ahead of other institutions now, but in future, that for us to maintain our lead. So we just set up that incubation team about 2 weeks ago. So it's exactly on this premise that that team was set up.
It was set up?
Yes.
Okay. So innovation, yes. As you were mentioning, that reminds me, the first I actually saw innovation lab, it was in Cambridge. It was in Cambridge. Innovation lab. So they have a laboratory in Cambridge. So they employed my son, my second son. So I went there. They allowed him to go. I said, let me see where you are going to. And he didn't also have there's a credit which you can get loan to get to a house and whatever. The credit score, I've forgotten what they call it there in Britain. So I had to use my own so it can now move into a flat to work innovation lab. The second time I then saw it was in Cranfield. They didn't just put innovation lab, they then said incubation lab. So, and I went there to be a part of a seminar they did. Is that here, if you have any business idea as a student, while in school, bring it here. We will help you develop this idea. We will test it out in the market for you. So that by the time you are graduating, you are setting up your business. In fact, some set up their business while they are there. But the innovation lab is the one that helps them to do it. And I'm happy that in John you've started that.
Yes.
And that will help a lot of young people. So that they don't come to school looking, after they graduate, looking for a job. In a country where graduates who leave university and polytechnics and maybe some other tertiary institutions, when you see they finish and only about 10% of them gets employment. Now, what is the 90 doing? That is where innovation and learning, this thing can really be very helpful. Thank you for drawing attention to that. So it's a consequence. Developing new ways to add value will be needed as organization continues to adapt to an evolving environment. It's an example of learning and growth measure is the number of new skills learned by employees every year. I give myself target every year on new skill. As we speak now, Mommy came with me here. came with me here. What did she do? She then went straight to Unilab because she wants to do a doctoral degree on an area which nobody has actually done a doctoral program, on a unique area. So initially, we were actually saying she should do it in School of Oriental Study in the UK. I said, but that's a new area. Do you think those people will be interested in that new area? He spoke with two other universities. So the point there is this, is that an elderly woman in her 60s, he says, I want to still gain more knowledge.
That's what we are talking about.
And me, I'm saying I want to get another because I must get a degree from Harvard. How can I be talking of Kaplan? I want to see them there. So, and you then find young people today, they are not interested. This is a yahoo. They just want to get where they see your car you are driving, a 70-year-old, a 20-year-old boy want to be driving the car. It's all right to work. So, learning and growth measure, although it is done in a corporate environment, the way it is developed by Kaplan and Norton, but it actually also applies to individuals. It applies to homes. It applies to churches. Learning and growth is what makes me that in my own church, I may not minister up to 5 or 6 times in a year. And yet, the church will be growing. Because the people who work with me, they grow every single day. And they take more assignments. I will be asking, why are you are the senior papa? We don't see you there. I said, you are going to see less and less of me. Why? Learning and growth is operationalized within that church in a way that younger people are jumping up. They're having confidence and say they can preach to the world. I say, okay, Dipo, go and preach now. And Dipo is preaching better than me. Yes. When my father-in-law was talking to, I said, Daddy, this young one preach better than me. He said, they are not. He says, because you don't have time to prepare my material. I said, when I have time, I said, these young ones are doing. What are we doing? We are learning and we are growing. And we need it everywhere. We need it everywhere. Before we bring this to a close, this learning and growth, I want to speak now to the leaders of our country. People who don't learn from their past, they find they become a victim of their past. If you don't learn from your past, you'll be a victim of your past. This country didn't quite learn what I can see in the past. What caused civil war in Nigeria? And the critical issue as at that time that caused it is that some people felt shortchanged, while some people were enjoying. It was like the animal farm. So when some people are enjoying and others are suffering, and so they said, well, where are we here? And then it resulted in disagreements where those who were supposed to come in and bring some civilized, in some way, justice, they then killed people from one side of the country, and then the other side of the country, somehow some of them they are alive. And some people then say, we'll rise up. So you find that injustice actually was very critical to the First Civil War. It was injustice and oppression. Now, when you come back now and look at our polity, you know, in Foursquare, there is something in Foursquare Church we call Foursquare polity. It's a very big study. Thankfully, I did it when I was in seminary. I studied it, polity. Polity has something to do with governance, you know. And then when you come on to political governance, that is spiritual governance now, or ministerial governance, Foursquare polity. There's the political governance. If you watch through our country today, almost all the MDAs, most of the MDAs, virtually, they're all Northerners. If you check quite a lot of the key appointments, they are so skewed to just one part of the country. And the other part are saying what? And in the South where you have it, it's almost that in the South, there's also one big tribe in the South. I don't want to mention the tribe. It's almost they are totally excluded. And this is why I'm shouting. I say we need our own republic. Let us go away. Because these people don't count us as anything. They can't see we are part of the Commonwealth. So wherever there's injustice, wherever there's this, you can see people are not learning from the past. Learning and growth. Because if they actually learned from that civil war that happened, every time you are looking, and that was why this thing was set up. There was a ministry, this was set up that time, a framework within civil service to then say balancing, making sure that all tribes are, whatever. I've forgotten the title, the name they called that equality thing, in which they were looking at the civil service. So then you'll find that everyone in some way is represented.
It's now something.
There was a way, what they were calling it, they will remember. Then if you come into the military, for instance, the military architecture, and you just find just one group of people where you then find he was always the chief of army staff, that is more powerful amongst all of the service chiefs, they will come from there. Sometimes everybody comes from one place. So injustice unto our leaders. So I'm speaking to our leaders, please, if you want Nigeria to stay together, we need a country of justice, of law, and fair play.
Mindshare Communications Limited is a world-class marketing, communications, and branding consultancy firm located in Lagos State, Nigeria. We offer a wide array of consultancy and promotional services to corporate businesses and firms. Our services include strategic marketing activities, public relations, advertising, social media management, digital marketing, web development, brand development, marketing activation, strategic branding, market intelligence activities, and telecoms, ranging from CUG management to airtime vending. Call Mindshare Communications today to help you achieve your goals. For further information, please contact Abiola on 0807 739 0974. Send a mail to info@mindsharelimited.com or visit our website at www.mindsharelimited.com. Address 184A Kaduna Road, Crystal Estate, and Mowadofi Estate, Lagos.
And that is where I want to bring this episode today to a close on learning, on managing organizational performance, particularly the balance scorecard. And I spoke, we then discussed learning and growth. If you want to grow in this country, Nigeria, as a country, to grow, we need to learn. And we need to learn. And that learning will ensure that will enthrone justice and fair play in our polity. And so thank you so much, everyone, for being a part of this episode today. Until I come your way again, I want to thank you and I want to stay safe. And just one more point is that if you have questions, if you have interventions, you have anything you want to contribute onto this thing, please look at on the telecast with scrolling email addresses as well as phone numbers. And once we receive them, by the grace of God, we shall be able to respond to them in later episodes. Until that time, stay safe and may God bless you, and bye-bye.